we were talking about how the Yetzer Hara works. The Yetzer Hara has a lot of people working for him. Not just he himself, but he's got others out there working for him. I'll just give you an idea of how the Yetzer Hara works, and then how do those out there work for him? So there's a Marsha in Sanhedrin and Daf Kuf. Saw this Marsha. It's mamish an amazing Marsha. Marsha says that the Yetzer Hara makes it that a woman who would be otherwise unattractive, a married woman, Eishes Ish, the Yetzer Hara will make that woman look attractive. She will make her look pretty, in order just so
lucky her.
In order to get somebody, not lucky her, not
sorry.
at all. Yeah, in order to get people to sin. In other words, there's this. I don't even know how to describe it. Some type of power. They say that in English the phrase is "beauty is in the eye of the beholder." What it means is Havana shel zehu, that a person, somebody, whether somebody is pretty or not, is depending on the one who's looking. Yeah, every husband believes their wife is pretty. Every husband believes their wife is pretty. Why? Aren't there some women out there who everyone would agree are ugly? No, it's not true. There aren't. Why not? Because the Kodesh Baruch Hu made it that way, that husbands should find their wives pretty even before they get married, because they're supposed to marry them. But besides for that, the Yetzer Hara also has a koyach to make people who are usher also look pretty. Even if this Eishes Ish is not very pretty, even if she's not, the Yetzer Hara will make her look pretty so that a person will sin. That's the way the Yetzer Hara works. It's fake. It's not real. It's pashut, not real. It's not real. I like bringing an example about a certain. Okay, usually I don't bring example about goyim, but in this case we can bring example about a goy. There's a certain goy, famous goyish athlete, who was a very famous and rich athlete, who was also married to a supermodel. A supermodel, for those who don't know, is a very, very attractive goyish woman who makes her money parading her body around so that people can look at it. Yeah? That's more or less what a supermodel is. Yeah, like Vashti, kind of like Vashti, except she gets paid and she doesn't even have to do it for free. Yeah, so this professional athlete was married to this supermodel, and in the Western society that we live in, nothing stays a secret for too long, and he was caught cheating on her. Yeah, with another woman, and this other woman that he was cheating on her was nowhere near as pretty as his wife was, not even close. Yeah, so it was kind of like an awkward thing. Like, you're gonna cheat on your wife, who is unbelievably beautiful, and you're cheating on her with some ugly woman. It's strange. Elamai, it's not so strange. Why is it not so strange? Because that kol hakoyach shel Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara just wants the Isser, so he makes the Isser so appeasing. It makes the Isser look so good. The mice, it's just not true. It's just lies. The Yetzer Hara doesn't care about telling you lies. All he wants you to do is sin. He doesn't care. He'll tell you any lie that he wants in order to get you to sin. Though that's the Yetzer Hara himself. The Yetzer Hara also has those who are going to work for him. Most of the people who work for the Yetzer Hara, although he has a lot, most of them work in Hollywood. Yeah? In Hollywood, Hollywood is a place where lies abound. Where there are so many lies, there's so much fakeness that people ruin their lives from all this fakeness. How does this work? The way it works is that there are people in Hollywood who are interested in making a lot of money. And they're willing to sell something that they know people want to see, and in order to make money. And they'll get actresses and actors to do things, say things, look certain ways in order so that they can make the money that they want. And people will watch them, whether they'll watch them in the movies or in other formats that they'll watch them, and they'll get an idea of, wow, this is what I really want. This is what marriage is about. This is what a relationship between a man and a woman is about. This is what, and people get a makulkul idea in their head that this is what a wife is supposed to be, and this is what marriage is supposed to be like, and this is what, and it's all the Yetzer Hara, and the Yetzer Hara has these workers working for him, and it's all fake. It's not true at all. I like quoting many times that Rabbi Yoel Schwartz, who lives here on Nachal Revivim 13, Yoel Schwartz worked. He worked in Hollywood as a lawyer for a little while, and he saw many of these actors and actresses come into the law office for different things, and you could see the way they look without makeup, and they don't look anything like the way they look with makeup. Because again, this is just another semen that it's all fake, and it can makalkal us. Chevra, this is why it's so important to stay away from these things. I understand the entertainment value that watching movies or video or all kinds of all this type of stuff is fun. If somebody has access to the internet, whether it be on a smartphone or a computer or a tablet or whatever, and does not have a filter, it is, I wouldn't say karav levadai, it's vadai. It's vadai that at some point they're going to be watching pornography.
It's the same. It's the same thing. Men and women.
What?
Men, women.
No.
Same
Women are different. Women, but derech halal are not drawn toward pornography. But derech halal they're not, and therefore this issue is not really for women. It's really for men. Yeah. So I'm not here to talk to women, but if a woman's listening, then she should know that if she has it in her house, then for her husband, this is a sakonos nefashos vadai for him and for their marriage. Yeah. Anybody who does not have a filter, a strong filter, a good filter on their or that the man has access to anything that he wants. Yeah. Web chaber maybe is a way of dealing with all this also, like we discussed it's not a filter, but it's also, but with the busha that we discussed web chaber before, so it's a little bit, it's also good. Lamais, I'm just bringing this out because what happens with pornography is also, it's all fake. It is all actors and actresses and makeup, and it's fake, and it gives a person, besides it can be makalkal a person's neshama in a lot of different ways, it also is so fake that it puts into a person the wrong idea about what marriage is about, and it will destroy their marriage 100%. So it's vadai, and it's not karav levadai. It's vadai. If a man is normal, and he has a normal Yetzer Hara, it is a vadai that he will see at some point or many points pornography. Therefore, you must have either web chaver. And if web chaver is not enough, a very strong filter. Weiter on the Indian of how I took a side point into that. That's just because at some point in the shurim, I needed to say this outright because nobody should even have a havamina otherwise. But I wanted to say it blatantly too. The Yetzer Hara works in a way where he tries to sneak in. The Yetzer Hara many times, or most of the time, does not try to throw something, boom, right in your face. He tries to sneak in a little bit here, a little bit there.
Some material.
Somebody, you're walking by, you look at this, you look at that, it happens to be the computer. It's not my computer, I'm passing by somebody else's computer. It's not like I'm watching this, Eric. My brother, my whatever, my sister is watching this movie. I'm not watching the movie. So, and I walk, these things are just a little, I want to work hard, and somehow the Yetzer Hara tries to sneak in. This is the derech of the Yetzer Hara. And a person in this situation has to, basically the best thing to do is to call the Yetzer Hara out on it. Meaning that if a person is in a situation where he knows that this can happen, sometimes it's mamish shock. I'm in a situation where I don't expect it at all. For example, I'm in the middle of a base medrash, and boom, right in front of me, somebody's playing with a smartphone. So I'm not expecting for somebody to be right. I'm saying a shear, and somebody's saying I'm using a smartphone right in front of me, right? So that is something that's maybe not expected. But if you're walking on the street and a girl passes by, that's something that we can expect. That's something that could happen. So if a person is prepared a little bit beforehand, so when this happens, the best thing, the Yetzer Hara is already, that's the first step. He's trying to get his foot in the door. Right then you have to call him out on it. A person has to come to the why am I looking? I'm looking only for Isser. That's the whole thing. The whole thing over here, the whole drive over here is only Isser. That's all there is. Yetzer Hara is pushing. That's why I want this. This applies, you might think, or Bachrim might think, this only applies to Bachrim because they don't have a wife at home. Because they don't have a wife at home, that's why they're looking. So they think that if I had a wife at home, I wouldn't have this problem. Yeah, but it's not true. It's not true. The Yetzer Hara is very good with people who are married too. The Yetzer Hara he's equal opportunity Yetzer Hara. He gives married people the same hard time. Oh, I have a wife at home. So the wife at home. So the one thing he could say, the person with the wife at home, what he can say is, I have a wife at home. So this is nothing to me. So he has a little bit of an extra way to fight the Yetzer Hara and say to the Yetzer Hara, this is shtuyot. This is nothing. This is nothing.
Why is nothing?
Yeah, this is mamish. That's what it is. It's poison. It's nothing, mamish. That's what a person can say. What I have at home is real, and this is shtuyot. A person who's single doesn't have that ability to say that yet because he doesn't have anything at home. Lemaisa though, you have a story. There's a story in the Gemara in Gemara Ksubis, I believe, about Mice in Bezdin, that Rava was in Bezdin. And he was sitting on a din Torah, and who was at the din Torah? The wife of Abaye. See, Abaye died. Abaye died, and his wife came to Bezdin because she wanted to get her ksuba, she wanted to get her mazoinas, she wanted to get what was coming to her from the estate of Abaye, because her husband died, and she wanted to get. It happens to be that this woman that there was Abaye's wife, there was a machlokes whether she was a katlanis or not. She already had one or two husbands. This might be the third husband that died already from her. Yeah. So there was a vikuach there in the Beis Din about whether or not Abaye gave her wine to drink, and they said, we know Abaye. Abaye didn't do that. And she said, yes, he did. He gave me this much. And she picked up her arm to show how much wine that she got from Abaye, and she deserves to get that also. The Gemara describes there that her sleeve fell down a little bit. Yeah, her sleeve fell down. And you're able to see her arm. And that would created such a tumult in the Beis Medrash that Rava ran home to his wife. Yeah, he mamish ran home to his wife. He ran home to his wife because this happened. So there's a certain nakuda of having a wife that maybe there's a paspasalo aspect over here that a married person, that a single person doesn't have, which is why everybody should get married. But even Rava understood this is Yetzer Hara. That's what it is. That's all it is. It's Yetzer Hara. It's Isser. And that it's when they have on bottles that are poisonous, they put a skull and crossbones on it. So you see it, just think skull and crossbones. That's what this is. Yeah, this is not something that I want. It looks like I want it, but it's not. Yeah. That's what a person has to learn to train himself to do, a little bit at a time. L'maaseh, a person has to learn to be consistent when it comes to this avodah. Whether it's something initially we're working on one time, but you have to keep at it because I'm working on it and then I stop working on it for a little while and then I try again and I stop for a little while. It gets harder every time we do that. Even if we're only working on it a little bit, and only at specific times we're consistent about it. I'm working on it for one 10-minute span a day. The 10 minutes when I walk, when I go from here to there. The 10 minutes when I'm in the merkaz. The 5 minutes that, even if it's just that, but if it's consistent, if a person is working on it again, he will see progress. There will be growth in it, and it might take a little while, it may take a long while, but it's worth every second. It's worth it. There's a common thought that many people have that goes something like this. A person might say to himself, "Look, if I would just watch more movies, if I would just look more, then it wouldn't bother me as much. I wouldn't think about it as much. If I saw this stuff all the time, so then when a girl comes in, passes by in the street, it wouldn't bother me. It wouldn't do anything to me because I see it all the time. So people think, so why is it? It's better. Let me watch the movies. Let it not bother me. Let me watch so many of them that it's not going to bother me so much. And then it won't bother me when I'm in the street and I see it. Yeah, this is totally wrong. This is a terrible, horrible mahalach. And the reason why is as I've explained before. When a person gets to the point where it really doesn't bother them anymore, it means they're sick. A person who is in touch with his neshama, who is a spiritually sensitive person, this thing, it should bother him. If a person is so used to something, it means that his senses have been dulled by it. He can't feel it anymore. It means he's a sick person. Yeah, there was a Maisa that the Sefer Har brings about a certain Rav. I forgot who it was, who was taking a ride. A Bacher was taking a ride, and the Rav told him, "Don't drive through this area. There's a lot of pizzas here. Drive around, and it's better. It's better that way." So the Bacher who was driving him said, "No, don't worry about it. These things don't bother me. I'm okay. We can drive through that area." So he said, "Really? They don't bother you? Tell me what's your name and your mother's name. I want to daven for you. You're a sick person. Your mom is sick." It's not normal. It's not normal that it shouldn't bother you. It's really not. It says about the Chavetz Chaim. The Chavetz Chaim, one time on Shabbos, he saw Chilul Shabbos. And in Mamish, he broke down crying hysterically. In Chilul Shabbos. Yeah. The next week, he saw Chilul Shabbos again, and he was also crying. And then after a few seconds, he started crying even more. What do you mean? What happened? Well, what was? Somebody asked him, you're crying, and then like a few seconds into your crying, you started crying even more. What happened? So he said, I'll tell you what happened. He said, last week when I saw Chilul Shabbos, Mamish hurt me so much to see Chilul Shabbos. Mamish hurt me so much. Yidden should be Mechal Shabbos, hurt me so much. This week when I saw Chilul Shabbos, it hurt me. But I felt that it didn't hurt me as much as last week. So that's why I cried. I cried because it didn't hurt me as much. Because even he felt that it was dulled a little bit. He lost it a little bit. He lost that feeling, that sensitivity. Because being sensitive to kedusha is the way every Jew should be. We should be sensitive to kedusha. My Rebbe enjoys many times. He told us a story. Rabbi Chanan Wasserman many times would come. I don't know how many times, but he would come to America to collect money for his yeshiva. And many times he would stay in the apartment of the Golding family, who live on the west side of Manhattan. And the Golding family was very wealthy, and they had a car and a personal driver. And they gave the car and the personal driver to Rabbi Chanan to take him around to all the places that he needed to go. So he had a car and a driver wherever he needed to go to try to collect money for the yeshiva. And the car was like a very fancy car for that time. It had shades on the windows, so you were completely enclosed. Yeah. One day, the driver comes back to Mrs. Golding and says, "I don't know who that was in the car, but that's a holy, holy man." So they said, "Wow, how do you know that?" And, "Yeah, there's a guy." He said, "He's a holy man." He says, "I'll tell you how I know." Yeah. In the back there, it's completely, it's enclosed. Yeah. It's there might be sun be able to come in, but you can't see out. He said, when we were driving through Times Square, and this is in the 1920s, when we were driving through Times Square, I heard he started screaming and banging on the windows like he needed to get out of there as fast as possible. Yeah, he could feel the tumah, even 100 years ago in Times Square. If you've never been to Times Square, I don't recommend going. Yeah, he could feel the tumah already. He could feel it. Makom tamei ad ma'od. Yeah, even 100 years ago it was a Makom Tamei Ad Ma'od. Imagine how much worse it is today. Yeah.
Why?
Even he, without being able to see, was able to feel that. That's what it means, sensitivity. That's what it means. A person should never feel that I'm better off not feeling. It means the person's sick. Besides for that, the more a person is sensitive, the better for his own marriage it will be. If this doesn't bother him, seeing pretty women dressed in an inappropriate way doesn't do anything for him, then his marriage is going to be a very, very difficult one. He's not going to have a good marriage. He's not. Because he's never going to find his wife pretty. A normal woman will never be able to stand up to an actress, a fake movie actress with that's staged, that's full of makeup and no normal human being, even the woman herself who is that actress, can't live up to the way the part that she's playing in the movie. Nobody can. It's all fake. It doesn't exist. But if a person sees that again and again and again, and that doesn't move him, that doesn't do anything for him, then what will? What will get him excited? Nothing. And Rahman al-Islam, people fall deeper and deeper into worse and worse averas because of this problem. So being sensitive to these things, feeling like I feel bad about it, is a great sign that you're a spiritually healthy person. It's a sign that you care. It's a sign that this is meaningful to you and your life is meaningful to you. And that I want to be sensitive. I want to have a good marriage. I want to have a happy life. There are so many people out there, and it's so sad, that fall so deeply into this problem that it almost becomes, the whole thing becomes meaningless to them. And the only thing that can excite them are such disgusting, manipulative things that will never happen in real life, that they can't live normally. And they need professional help to get out of it. We don't want to be like that. We want to have a good life without having to go through Gehenna in this world. So we should appreciate that by having these issues, we're actually quite normal. We're actually spiritually sensitive people. We're actually in a much, much better place than most of the people of the world. And besides, obviously, we're doing Ratzon Hashem, and we're going to get amazing Olam Haba for it. We're also going to get amazing Olam Haba for it too. And Be'ez Hashem, we should all be zoiche to see growth, even a little bit. HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves every little bit. We should be zoiche to see more and more and more. And even if we fall sometimes, we should know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is machshiv that we're trying.
Thank you for listening. To hear more shurim like this one, go to jfoundations.com. If you'd like to support us or sponsor an episode, go to jfoundations.com/support.